Hello everyone, it's Dr. Sam. I'd like to welcome you to my EyeClarity podcast. This is a show that offers cutting-edge information on how to improve your vision and overall wellness through holistic methods. I so appreciate you spending part of your day with me. If you have questions, you can send them to hello@drsamberne.com. Now, to the latest EyeClarity episode. Hey everyone, it's Dr. Sam, and I'd like to welcome you to my EyeClarity podcast today. I'm taking a hike up in the Carson National Forest, just outside of Taos, New Mexico. So I received a question from a listener who's got a very serious condition called a retinal hole, and she wants to know what my advice is. Well, first of all, this is a very serious sight-threatening condition. You know, the retina is a very vulnerable tissue in the back of the eye, and it's made up of over 130 million photoreceptors. And because of its vulnerable integrity, there are many reasons why we need to take really good care of our retinas. Some of the causes of retinal holes could be moderate to high amount of nearsightedness or astigmatism, the result of eye surgeries, eye trauma, and metabolic imbalances. And this is what I want to focus on here because, when we go to the doctor and we get a diagnosis, most likely the condition's been happening for a while. It's just now you know about it. And so it's a signal to say, okay, where am I not in balance? And with a retinal hole, the retina, first of all, needs a lot of fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids. In fact, the part of the omega-3 that we need the most is the DHA part of the omega-3. We do not make omega-3. We need to get it from outside sources. So that is one of the proactive things that you could do. Another thing that you could do would be to make sure you're getting enough of the retinal carotenoids. You've heard me talk about these: lutein, zeaxanthin, and astaxanthin. Some really good food sources for lutein and zeaxanthin would be the red, orange, yellow, green vegetables. For astaxanthin, that's a marine carotenoid. You could always do a microalgae supplement, or if you can get some wild-caught salmon, that would be another way to get your astaxanthin. Vitamin A is also really important, and one of the issues I see is that people do get vitamin A, but they're not absorbing the vitamin A. It's a fat-soluble vitamin, and so you may need to check in with your gallbladder and liver health. Remember, the liver produces bile, and the gallbladder stores it, and one of the things that you need in order to be able to absorb vitamin A is bile. And this would go hand in hand with also lutein and zeaxanthin, which are also fat-soluble phytochemicals. So you could check this out with a blood panel with a doctor, a functional medicine doctor, or you could go to a Chinese medicine doctor and they could read your pulses and tell you that way. Some other aspects about retinal holes is a lot of it depends on the location and the depth of the hole. Of course, if it's not in your line of vision, if it's off in the periphery, you may be able to bide some time. This is a call that you're going to have to make with your doctor to see whether or not you want to repair the hole or you want to try some of these alternative therapies that are going to take a while. So you have to really weigh those things if you're going to go ahead and get the surgery. Now, there are a couple of different surgical procedures. One is using a laser, another is using a freeze type of therapy where you're freezing the area around the hole. And any surgical procedure is really about trying to contain the damage in a small area. And you may need to do that, and then you could start using some of these other things that I'm recommending. Now, what can happen when you get this kind of surgical procedure is scar tissue. And I've talked about in other video blogs about a proteolytic enzyme called serrapeptase. And this sometimes can be used as a digestive aid, and it helps dissolve scar tissue in the body, including the eyes. Another supplement you could look into would be nattokinase. So those two things could be used after you've had the surgery if there is some scarring tissue. Now, one of the things about retinal holes is that at the very beginning, you don't know that you have this condition because there's no symptoms. As it progresses, however, you can get things like waviness in your vision, a dark shadow on your peripheral vision, blurred vision, cloudiness. So if you start getting those things, I would make an appointment with an eye doctor and do a full retinal exam and OCT scan and just get a lay of the land on the health of your retina. Now, some other supplements that can be very helpful for retina health would be things like saffron, curcumin, especially if you feel like you've got some systemic inflammation. Even things like ginkgo, bilberry, resveratrol, and grapeseed extract. These are really highly concentrated antioxidants, and they have been found to help retina health. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about is mitochondria. So mitochondria, they live in the retina. There's a very high concentration of mitochondria in the retina. Mitochondria are very important for the production of ATP, and ATP is energy that helps get rid of things like oxidative stress, free radical damage, inflammation. And the retina, because of the concentration of blood vessels that exist in the retina, sometimes the mitochondria gets, as we say, challenged or compromised. So one of the new therapies on the market is red light therapy. Now, I've talked about this in other podcasts and video blogs. Red light therapy has been shown, especially in small amounts, maybe 5 to 7 minutes in the morning, to help regenerate the eyes. So I think that this would be something for you to explore. And red light therapy helps in the production of ATP because it supports mitochondria health. It also can boost your immune system, reduce inflammation, and it does a lot of great things. And light therapy is one of those tools that I would highly, highly recommend. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about any kind of retinal problem, whether it's a retinal tear, retinal hole, retinal detachment, is to check in with the health of your gut. Gut health and eye health are very, very related. And so if you're dealing with any kind of gut dysbiosis, inflammation, candida, even conditions like mold or heavy metal toxicity, this is where I think on a systemic level, if you can begin to put the puzzles together around improving your gut health, that's only going to improve your retina health. Now remember, when you're on your screen time, you should be using blue blocking filters. Blue light has a tendency to dry out any of the eye tissue that you expose it to, and the amount of blue light really can wreak havoc on your eye health. So those are some of the things I would suggest. Again, on a final point, I think you need to work closely with your doctor to see whether you need to get surgery right away or whether you can put it off and do some of these alternative methods. So I want to thank you very much for the question, and that's our show for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Take good care. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from the EyeClarity podcast show today. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to subscribe on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. See you here next time.